Hi, it's good to be back on Libation. New set, as you can see. We're trying to sort of spice things up a little bit. But as always, the essence of the show remains. It's about a journey into what it means to be Igbo in today's Nigeria, as a conversation with different guests from all walks of life, some of whom are my very good friends, like today's my guest today is a special friend of mine, someone I've known, and even funny, he's known me more than I've known him. You know that kind of thing. But you get to meet this wonderful gentleman in a second. But like I said, it's good to be back. And because I've been away for a while, for those of you who are, shall I say, libation fans, you will discover that we've been having a lot of reruns over the past. I confess, I'm sorry, but now we're back, and we're going to supercharge, the new editions that are coming your way. And so let me introduce Mr. Ogonna Okafor, who is a wonderful friend of mine, someone, as I said, who we've known each other for many years. We're both Enugu brought ups, as they say. We're 042 boys. So, Ogonna, welcome to Libations.
Yeah, thank you.
How do you feel? What do you think of our new set?
Yeah, it's a wonderful set.
Thank you.
I think it's homely and nice.
Thank you very much. That's the whole idea. As I said, at the very beginning of this show, the whole idea was to invite people into my personal space, into my home. And some of them will be my friends, and we have conversations, as I said, what it means to be Igbo. I'm kind of using my guests to rediscover my own roots, my heritage as an Igbo person, and to share my discovery and my conversations with the viewers, with the rest of the world. So if you like, I am that guinea pig that you can come along and especially for those who are interested in finding out a little bit more or listening to conversations, about the challenges of life, and then reconnecting to your roots. So Libations is a place to be. Ogonna, welcome. We have the tradition, and the show is called Libation. So before we go on the break, we have this tradition where we get Chegoji.
Yeah.
I have to present you with one. Yeah. So you might ask now when you went to lodge with an Indo. So I'm presenting you with cola. When at this point, I ask you, man.
Yeah,
Ojada no beke. O kwa kan gwage ma o de kan carry ma de do.
E bro kisi we kan we wa. Kisi we kan we wa.
Iminile. I have. Yeah.
Afugo na oji weta. Mana na oji eze ga di eze nake.
Okay. Well, dalu no.
Okay.
Divine. Asina onye weta oji weta ndo.
Yes, you see.
I na-ekpele Olisa ka ọ na-ele anyị na ọjị anyị weta ọ maka ọganiru anyị ka onye anyị ndụ nye anyị arụ isi ike ya ka anyị na-ekpele Olisa ya niile ka anyị na-ayọ Chukwu ka ọ nọlele anyị wee nye anyị ma atụmatụ ma ihe ọbụla anyị na-ekpele Chukwu ka ọ dịla anyị ise.
Amen. Ise.
So ka mgbe ọjị.
Ọ na-enyere kwa m ọjị l'ụlọ.
Mgbe m ga-eche gị ọjị ihe ewe ọjị wee na
Enye m ọjị l'ụlọ.
Ịbịa be m.
M ewelgodo ọjị l'ụlọ before ntaba nke ihe.
Ngwa
Nwere ọjị l'ụlọ.
So
Elu ka ngosi ndị
ngwa ihe ewe.
Okay. Thank you.
So ihe ọzọ anyị na-emekwa bụ mekwesa ọjị.
Okay.
Ịma asị na ihe a bụ libation. So maka ndị ichie ndị gboo anyị asịfa rienu nwanụ bụ nsogbu anyị
ka wee chekwa anyị
wee na-eche anyị gbanyere gị nwa obere nọ wee gbucha ọnụ.
Yes, sir. That-
So, as we've poured libation, we'll be back shortly. Please stay tuned. We'll be back with Ogonna and to, as I said, to share his experiences. He's a man who's traveled widely. He's been around the world. He has some great experiences that I think that you will enjoy. So we'll be back in a second. Thank you. So welcome back. I'm still here with Ogonna. I'm praying that Ogonna, because on this show, my guest can also ask me questions. I'm praying that he doesn't ask me anything that will to put me in trouble with higher authorities and with domestic authorities. Actually, I'm off. The domestic authorities are actually the more worrisome bit because those ones you live with them every day. I mean, speaking of Ogonna, I mean, what's your fondest memory of this town of Enugu? What's the one story, one thing that sort of has made Enugu, has etched Enugu in your blood, in your mind? Either growing up, what's that story that if I were to ask Odi or anybody, by the way, guys, Odi, my younger brother, we're very good friends. If I were to ask him, for example, says, what's the one memory of Ogonna that, or any other person, what would be that story, you think?
Well, I have a lot of stories. But I think,
we have time.
yeah. But the truth is, growing up, I grew up in New Haven.
Yeah.
New Haven was like the center of the middle class back in the days. I remember there is this, growing up in Enugu. Normally, then we have Naji Park, you have Eze Park, you have different parks.
Yeah.
Enugu was well structured.
That's the point I was making. That
Enugu was well
Enugu
structured.
had that thing, that cosmopolitan. It was almost like you were living. I don't want because I don't when I say abroad, people think, oh, it's a better. But in terms of planning, this is probably one of the best planned cities in the world.
Definitely.
I'll be honest. Yeah,
I believe you. So and back in those days, your parents could just travel to the village. You organize a party in your
Small
house.
Ebo.
Small Ebo. So, and if you're not the one organizing and you're not invited, it's a big shame that you're not in this party.
Yeah.
Because the stories will be everywhere.
They had click. So
So there was this particular party at the Uhiebu's house. That's Ohio. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
Gordian Uhiebu, that he lives I think in Malta now. That party was something else. I don't want to tell you that some people even your relatives were there.
Okay.
It was, the party in Enugu then was, if it wasn't in Lufthansa, there's a place they called Lufthansa that time.
Philbon Hotel, yes.
Hotel, few places that you have, but the real parties were house parties.
Yeah.
The one that your parents wouldn't know that something like that is going on. So we had that party, and the legendary Okocha, but then now he wasn't who he is today. Then Emily called through, and a lot of people who were in secondary school. We organized that party with our girlfriends, girlfriends, not that, when we say girlfriend, we weren't doing anything crazy. It was just people you just hang out with them. Childhood friends that you hang out with. But you were close to them. But these guys in the university then,
wanted to come and be.
In fact, they hijacked our party. They hijacked the party, and that time when you come in, they give you IV. You come in, after a while, the number of girls will determine how the party will go. Sometimes you have 20 girls and 50 boys. Then these guys that came to hijack this party now asked all boys out. That's the announcement.
Yeah.
For them to be readmitted. By the time, this is the party we organized, by the time they were readmitting people, half of us were outside.
Who were the original?
We were the original initiator of the party. They kept us outside. Then the girls who were like close to us now refused to dance inside the party because their friends were outside. So they will now come back, including your brother. They will come back and say, who is Obinna Nwabeze? Who is Godian Uhegbu? So they eventually admitted few of us that made those back into the party. When I remember that particular party, and when you see all these guys now, some of them are chief executives.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to be like, that's what
so it was you back then.
Yeah. So it was a crazy moment for me.
I remember those parties. In fact, I remember the one, I don't know if you were in my house then in Chime Lane, when we were having this party and Connell came back. Sly will remember. Sly was in my house and Connell came back. My dad came back from Kaduna. Full military uniform. Everybody didn't know whether we were to run. I didn't know what to do. We just froze. This man just walked past us and went upstairs and locked the door and left us. So we were now like, he didn't shout at anybody. He didn't make, so we're like, should we continue this party or should we all run? Because Connell, everybody was afraid of him. Everyone was afraid of my dad. He was just, and he wore like his full army officers. We were like, I remember Sly said to me, Omo, make we go, make we come out. I'm like, if I leave the house, because my dad is now back, what will happen to me when I come back? Or should I just stay? So a few of us just stayed, the music, and he didn't come down. And he's actually, till today, Igwe, my dad has never asked me anything about that day. He just kind of left us. A lot of boys took the opportunity to steal a bottle of some beer, some drinks, and took off. But then we had a lot of those parties. Yeah. And those were beautiful times. Those were sweet. Those were sweet memories.
The Boy Scout days that we were going camping and hiking, because we started early. We started so early from primary school. We were having these. I remember Godwin John, a military officer that was our platoon leader as a Boy Scout. That guy exposed us to a lot. I keep saying most of the things I do today, I can attribute it to that particular chap, because he taught us how to tie knots, reef knots, fisherman knots. Now I do a lot of things that people will be wondering, how did you?
So that actually takes me. We've had palm wine here for a bit. One kind of now, so that we can drink. Our throat is getting dry. As old men. So guys, this is fresh palm wine from Nkanu. We make the best palm. Nkanu, I'm mine for this thing.
Are you sure?
I am sure.
Are you sure? And also come on, we dispute that.
And Soka people. Okay. They try, but I think they will come in Nkanu, Udi, then Soka.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
My neighbor will dispute that seriously.
I would like bring him on. Let's have that conversation. So Nsuka. No, Tejen. This one is for you people. I don't want to start a palm wine fight, but this is nice. This is very nice. This is Ozala. This is Nkanu. This is where we. But let me, as always, when it comes to palm wine, the flies they won't give us some space. But let me ask you this though. It's a good thing you mentioned your days, in the Boy Scout. Is that what informed one of your side hustles now, which you've become famous for, which is the Weekend Wanderers,
Warriors.
Weekend Warriors. Sorry, that's your hiking business. That is
my tour business.
Was that sort of the background to
that? Exactly is the background to it, because something you started early became your passion. You love doing it. I never wanted to. It wasn't a business to me, just a way of life. You understand? So from that Boy Scout day, even while I was in Port Harcourt, we do a lot of tours and just to to explore and have for crazy extreme things that we were doing.
You just came back from Tanzania.
Yeah, I went to Kilimanjaro. I went to climb Kilimanjaro.
You summited.
I summited Kilimanjaro. That's one of the hardest.
No. Let's.
That's the hardest. Feat. I summited Kilimanjaro, and I'm planning something.
If you tell me Everest, I will tell your wife to lock you up, seize your passport.
Why?
What do you mean?
Why?
You see, this is the thing with adventure seekers, thrill seekers like this. They're high on adrenaline. You people are high on it.
What are you talking about?
What am I talking about?
People do it every day. As we are talking now, people are climbing.
Check acquire your age.
No, that's it's not even age. What you'll be talking about is the Benjamin, not age. The Lalas, that's the money. Once I can afford it, how old am I? I can do it. Google it and check the age of the average age of people that
we have a mutual friend that told me you barely survived Kilimanjaro.
No.
You know what you mean? No.
No, I never the altitude, it was challenging quite well. The altitude problem was there, but I never took oxygen.
Okay.
I never did.
Okay, the other guy took oxygen.
I moved and I got to the summit on time.
But I want to thank you, though. There's something wonderful that you did for Afia Television. I think we're going to put it up. My producers will put this up. This gentleman, I think all of us in Afia TV need to thank him. He summited Mount Kilimanjaro. Perhaps we're the only TV channel in the whole of Africa that we have our banner up on Mount Kilimanjaro. He took the Afia banner and flag.
At the roof of Africa.
At the roof of Africa. Okay. Thank you. God bless you. I really, I want to thank him for
the next
that.
place will be in Everest. You don't know about that?
I'm not here when you were. We're not here. No witnesses. You're on your own there. That place. You've seen those memes about people full of confidence climbing Everest, and some of them don't come down.
No, definitely. That's a part of life. You keep trying. So a lot of people have made it to the summit.
I agree. I mean, a lot of people have.
So why can't I do it? Tell me why.
I'm not going to. Let's change the topic. Let's change the topic. I'm going to change the topic a little bit. So you came back to Enugu, and you talked about restarting your business, the driving school business and teaching people. How has the environment been? You talked about Sullivan Chime's administration being very favorable to business and that sort of, and the city was well managed at that time, and that brought you back. But now, over the last 7, 8 years, I know that in the private conversations we've had coming to your place at Safari Grills, I mean, there was one day we sat at your, and this man makes the meanest, bestest barbecue that I've ever, I used to pride myself, maybe it's just my kids, always say, Dad makes the best barbecue. And I was used to, until I came to Enugu, he invited me to his house, and he made this barbecue, this chicken, this grill. I normally don't eat pork. My kids love it, by the way, but I sort of don't like it. But every time you've made it, I've eaten it, relished it. I remember you doing one here for Afia TV, one of our Friday, end of the month TGIF events, yes. The whole staff, we almost rioted here. They were fighting for Namdi, who was using his weight as GM to fight for everybody and so so you're doing your passion actually.
Everything I do, and that's the only way you're not getting frustrated in this part of the world.
Yeah.
The business environment. If you don't do what you love doing, most of the time you get frustrated because the business environment is most times very hostile. So the thing that has kept me moving is that most of the things I do are things that I love doing. So even if there's no money coming into it, I still will be able to, forge ahead and be moving without having that depression of not making money while doing business.
Is it enough to pay your bills though? Because you've got family, you've got kids in university, you got.
That's why we keep, you keep doing different things. Hardly you see an Igbo, in Igbo,
I don't know if we're killing more, as they say, yeah.
Most of the time we talk about apprenticeship in Igbo. They say, well, people don't talk about. They don't talk about. Most Igbo people don't do one business. An average Igbo man will be doing this, real estate, doing transportation, doing one or two other things. So when it's not coming here, it's
coming from somewhere else.
So you keep surviving.
Thank you so much. Cheers again to many more heights, Kilimanjaro and beyond.
Yes.
We will take another break, and we got to pay bills, so we'll take a break, and then please join us as we come back. And I'm going to put him on the spot by asking him a few more questions in relation to Igbo, and the culture. We'll come to that in a little bit. So we'll be back shortly. Welcome back. I apologize. I'm still cola nut. I'm still in my throat, but nice to have you guys back. Ogonna.
Yeah, bro.
Let me do like that man from that Ugandan guy who was asking. You just go straight to the point. Let me go straight to the point. What does it mean to be an Enugu brought up? What's the special thing? What makes being an 042 boy a big man? What's as they say, what's so special about that thing that everybody's so proud to say, I'm an 042 guy? What does it mean?
And it means a lot to be an 042 boy. Well, an 042 boy is I really don't know how to put it for you to. But you are an 042 boy. Maybe you understand it better. But
well, I want to hear it from your perspective.
The truth is, being an Enugu boy means a whole lot. Sometimes it's even difficult to explain that confidence that you have to say that you are an 042 boy, you're an Enugu boy. It's something that maybe probably the way we grew up, that communal kind of living that we had growing up in Enugu back in the days. We know everybody. Everybody knows everybody. In fact, we don't call people by, if I want to call Emeka then, I'll call Emeka Chimelane. I can call your name. I mean, when they call your name, they call where you live.
Yes, I remember now the real estate.
That's the way we are. So
yeah.
That's just it. We bonded so well that you can't. But that's why most people, when they leave, they miss the town so much that most of us, after leaving, and we came back to reestablish in Enugu. It means a lot to be an 042 boy.
I've always, because the question you asked me that I should know myself. I always think that the city was kind of smaller. It was middle class. Most of our parents were either in the public. Most of them were civil servants. So we, or technocrats, either doctors, lawyers, but it was a mix. It was a mixed society. That were just after the war. Everybody was, striving to recover and grow. So we knew each other, and I always say on this show that coming back to Enugu sort of exposed me to a life that I still cherish. I say to people, I'm not sure I'll be the Emeka that I am today if it wasn't for, growing up in this town and sharing the bond of friendships and connections that I had, even though my life here was a bit flighty, because I'll come in and I'll go. But the one remarkable thing, I know when we reconnected a few years back, I didn't quite recognize you, but you did, because you used to come to my house.
Yeah, we had a lot of parties at Chimelane.
let's leave some things away in the past. But we did have I remember we did have a lot of parties in Chimelane. I was trying to connect, so I thought of myself somewhat of a DJ, and I love music, and having those parties was my own way of trying to get to know people and everything. But those were great. Those were great years. But you, after youth service, you went to Port Harcourt. What?
Yes, no,
Yeah.
I didn't go to Port Harcourt immediately. After school, everybody then, back in the days, once you're done with school, a lot of people didn't even go to the university because they left after secondary school
to London,
UK. That time, you remember the trend.
Yeah.
Onya Awago. That was the trend then. So, but we all stayed back and had our higher institutions in Enugu here. And when I finished, I tried to do the needful. That was then to travel. But I traveled and I had a little problem and I came back. I didn't want to come back to Enugu because of the...
Yeah, I didn't want to be seen as if shame. Like...
So I now had to leave for Port Harcourt, where I had few friends that were already establishing there. So that was how I went to Port Harcourt and started my life there.
Okay. Well, when you got to Port Harcourt, what were you doing then? What were you into?
Well, when I got to Port Harcourt, I tried to see if I could get a paid job, not like working in an established firm, but I couldn't get that. So I started a business. That was how, because when I traveled, I worked in a driver education company briefly, and when I came back, for the fact that I didn't get a job, so all my mind was to find something positive to be doing, to be earning. That was how I established a driving school.
Okay.
That was how I established.
So that was the business you were doing in Port Harcourt at that time?
At that time, yes. I started the first thing I started in Port Harcourt was a driving school, yeah.
And how did that go? Because I can't imagine. You still do part of that business here in Enugu now.
No, definitely, it's a passion that I have. So it's because I love training, I love impacting on people, and the driving school was because I wanted to do it differently because of what I experienced outside the country. So I established Zebra Driving School and started running with it. Yeah. And then it was good because it wasn't just training people on how to drive. We had deals with companies that you do refresher courses for.
Okay,
and,
safety advanced driving
so I had to even
courses.
go for different training to be able to get deep into what I wanted to do. So it was good. It was good business then.
Speaking of driving and so on, our beloved city Enugu has changed somewhat. Even though it's changing again, hopefully for the better.
Yeah.
And there's the signs of it. But there was a time when I came back to Enugu, and I'll share the story with you. I was staying in Top Rank in Independence Layout, and it's a funny story. Maybe this is the first time I'm going to say it on camera. And I had my wife with me. We're about to go into surgery at UNTH, and a friend of mine, Chijoke Agu, was with me. He came to see me. Then I think he was like commissioner, he hadn't been commissioner. Was head of the Enugu Tourism Board or something like that, just behind presidential. They had this their office. So he came to see me, and we're sitting in the hotel, like a VIP section of the hotel. And there was a game on, there was a TV was on, and we're having a beer and just chatting. A bunch of guys just came, and we're sitting. There was a 3-seater and one single. So Virginia and I were sitting on the 3-seater. Some guy just came and sat plumb in the middle of my wife and I, and the other guy sat on the arm of the chair. And one guy actually reached out to the beer I was drinking and said, they brought him his beer. We're still like dazed looking at him. It's like, na beer ejuro, na kambalum kegi, and turned my bottle. I don't know this guy's from Adam, and poured into his glass. He said, "Nah, don't worry, I will take my own." I was like, "What the heck is going on?" And Chijoke, he's a big burly guy. Chijoke flared up and like, said, "Nah, Jim, why didn't I make it?" Became a. And I'm like, "Is this the Enugu that we grew up? That were so demure, so, for want of a better." Wanting to be civilized or wanting to always defer to, we couldn't even shout those days. We and this what young kids. They were like, no, I was shocked and scared. And I said to Joke, please, because we didn't know whether they were armed. Um, I was really scared. And I had, the point I'm making is that civility that we were proud, we grew up with, that we that sense of pride, that I don't want to call it the softness, because people, when I started this conversation, I asked you about 042, because I've seen people either in Lagos or Kaduna, or when they see some guy, the way he's behaving, they say, "Oh yeah, bro, and like, what do you mean? He said, now look at him now. He's just proper, civilized. At least people of our generation, no, yeah, boy, Enugu is an Enugu brought up. He's an Enugu guy, because there's a certain civility that we had, or we still have. But when I see this experience that I'm just recounting, it shocks me. I don't know. Did you feel that way?
No, definitely. When we were growing up, like most of the people you call Enugu boys, these when the schools came in and people started coming in, most of those people didn't grow up here. Mm-hmm. They just migrated to either do business or to
because of the universities.
The universities. So it's not. They are not really. They live in Enugu, but they are not Enugu boys. Mm. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So it's like infiltration from people from different, I don't want to call towns, but some towns that are people that are not really are bad boys or the boys,
It kind of reminds me of the conversation that was on Twitter a few years ago. I think it was the former Minister of Aviation, Afia. It's from Obosi. Our former
Chidioka.
Osita Chidioka said something. He started a big controversy that when you see as an Enugu boy, he said that you can tell from his behavior. You can tell from and I think that was funny, but I think it's emblematic. It's symbolic of in every city. Always sort of the people make the city and the city makes the people. Definitely. In a way, in terms of how they are, how they turn out to be.
Definitely.
But right now, and I think that civility, maybe it's because we have a governor who you always see him in suits. Sometimes I wonder, why is this man always in suit, always looking like a banker? Maybe that civility will come back, and I hope it does. I mean, I see signs of it already in terms of the air within the city.
Definitely, we're feeling it too.
We'll be going on a short break. My producer is telling me we still have time. Do we still have time, so we're not going to go anywhere. Let me end by asking you. Let me end this segment by asking you. You went to Port Harcourt. What brought you back to
Enugu?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we know you were away for a few years in PH.
I was in Port Harcourt for a long time, for almost 20 years or thereabout. But during, I think it was during Sullivan's era, I visited Enugu for some. But before then, because like I told you, I started with a driving school. Mm-hmm. I came to Enugu and established one because I felt my people needed my service. Yeah. So I came, established one, had somebody running it, and I was coming to, oversee what they were doing. So one of those days that I came to Enugu during that era, I felt like, honestly, the serenity and the way the government of the day, the way they were running the state that time, everywhere was creeps. You understand? So I had to in fact, I told my, that was during what really helped me more was during Ebola virus. That was during that time. They had that Ebola scare and all those stuff.
I think it was Sullivan Chimen that was governor.
Sullivan
then.
Was the governor then. In fact, that was
another fine gentleman. Still is a gentleman. Yeah.
So that was what I saw in Enugu. Actually, I just told myself the business I was doing, I could always go back to consult. I can live in Enugu, go do my my consultancy services that I do with some oil servicing companies. I can go back there and do it. Why should I live in Port Harcourt with all the the madness
yeah.
and a lot of things that were happening as at that time, the militancy and all those stuff. So I spoke with my wife and we discussed, and that was how we came back. Came back to that Enugu we used to know. You open your tap, no borehole, the water, the roads. In fact, there was a day I was going to Kenyatta after a heavy rainfall. During one of those my visits, if a tree fell, by the time I went to Kenyatta, I was coming back. They were already taking those things off the road. And where I was, that thing would be there for another 2 years or 1 year before they remove it. But Enugu was working.
Yeah, I think Sullivan even had like a city manager.
I don't know how he was
doing
it.
There were dumpster trucks, the refuse trucks.
In fact,
they had city buses and then those yellow painted taxis.
Definitely.
It was like a proper urban, there was that urban renewal that was
exactly
going on.
what brought me back home. That was exactly what brought me home. But at the time, I wanted to go back, but I don't want to talk about it.
You wanted to go back to
Port Harcourt. After that era of
after that era ended,
yes,
you felt that
there are a lot of things that weren't going.
We'll come back to that. I'm not going to let you go. So, guys, I hope you're enjoying the conversation so far. My guest, Ogonna Okafor, who is a fantastic gentleman. He's a storied Enugu person, and for those of you who know a little bit about Enugu, I'm going to task him with telling me a few more stories of the parties and the things they used to do. Where they used to go and hang out with Umu babes, or we'll hear more. Your wife will watch this.
Oh my God!
So we'll be back in a second. Let's try and sell markets. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Please don't change the channel. We'll be back in a minute or so. Welcome back to Libation and to my conversation with Ms. Ogonna Okafor. The adventure enthusiast, the conqueror of Mount Kilimanjaro, the dog lover.
Yes.
Alita misses you.
I know.
So, anyone who is watching this show and knows Enugu was from Enugu will know, will have seen images, or you will have seen images of a gentleman walking dogs like 3-4 dogs, sometimes unleashed even, but very obedient dogs and very frightening dogs. And I'm privileged to have been a beneficiary of one of the Dogo Argentinas, which is in my house now. One of Alita is one of the best behaved dogs.
Yeah.
Well mannered, so sociable. I don't know how to describe that dog. It's just like
a top breed.
It's a top breed. So calm, and super intelligent. It's almost like she hears what I'm saying at every particular time. I love that dog. Let me sort of act back to you return to Enugu. You started doing this, you opened up Safari Grill, which is one of your pet passion things you do. You turned it into a business. The Weekend Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
Weekend Warriors, yeah?
Yeah, Weekend Warriors.
I keep confusing it with Weekend Wanderers. Weekend Warriors. It's a very appropriate name. What has it been like? Because as we were going on the break, I asked all these things about passion. Does it pay the bills? And I'm asking this question because I'm going to bring in, or let me do this double barrel question. Is there anything you would have loved to do that you haven't done? And is there anything you regret?
Well, let me start with what you were asking about my passion, the businesses I do, if they pay the bills and all those stuff. The truth is, everybody knows the way the country is. No matter what you're doing, it's difficult now. It's a really difficult time for every business. But before now, what we do, sometimes people see it on the surface. Like, okay, for the driving school, you might look at driving school as business that people just work in. How much are they actually paying
Yeah.
to learn how to drive? But our structure is way bigger than
Yeah.
that. We do a lot of driver education. Like, I've done jobs for multinational companies, like having retainership on refresher courses for their drivers. Even some companies, blue chip companies in Enugu. We know Enugu is not
That's
like
commercial, yeah.
Yes. So, but companies like Tennessee and all those stuff, they send in their drivers intermittently for refresher courses and a whole lot of things. So it's deeper than what they're just training people on how to drive. Then, like I told you, everything I do, I don't do things that I don't have passion for, no matter how much that business might, be yielding.
In a way, you're an artist, aren't you?
I think I am.
Yeah, because that's an artist,
and
that's an artist mindset. That's a creator's mindset where your passion drives you.
That's exactly what drives me. If you watch everything I do, if you say, okay, like I keep dogs, I love keeping dogs.
Yeah.
You see, I do hiking a lot, training, then grills.
Yeah.
If you watch all these things, they are like complementary to each other. I hike, I move in with my dogs for security, and when you're camping at night, you have dogs that can
keep you safe,
keep you safe, and all those stuff. Then the grill, you can't
do camping without grilling.
You can't do without grilling.
Oh, absolutely.
So most of these things are related, and for me, the Swahili, they say poli poli.
Gently,
small. I don't, and that's why when you ask me if there's something I could have done differently, maybe if I'm given a chance or something, I don't think there's something I'm doing now that I don't love doing. And the truth is that I think we are doing all the right things, but the environment is the problem. If you ask me to start my life all over again, I will never go back to start duping people or doing some crazy things that people do to be known or something. The same thing I'm doing, I will be praying for us to have better leadership,
better environment
for those people that are doing the right thing to be thriving.
Absolutely. Ogonna, it's been time flies. It's been a charming conversation with you. But we don't end this show without asking this very vital question. In today's Nigeria, as you reflect, as you get older, what do you feel any pressure on yourself as an Igbo person in this country? What is your attitude to being Igbo and the sense of culture? And as an Igbo, we're very expressive. We're very almost too flamboyant and proud and arrogant. What's your sentiment about that?
I don't think. But the only thing is that, like, when you talk about pressure as an Igbo person, it's real. That's the truth. Being Igbo in Nigeria is, you need to work extra hard. Where other people will work 70% and succeed, whether in going into university, you need to work 95% to succeed. That's the truth. So anybody that wants to shy away from it is just lying to. For me, I have first cousins from the north. You know about that. I have first cousins from the north. I have cousins that are Yorubas and even Mama Aike Yawuf Calabar. So we have them. So I know the difference between when we go out to do certain things, the ways the other people might get some things easier than you get it. So it's there. But it doesn't pull me back. My parents, I know, learned how to speak Igbo. My mom learned how to speak Igbo because they lived all their life in the north, in Kano. My dad spoke Beriberi and this Fufude and all those stuff because they lived. It was the war that brought them back. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So I'm not like a normal Nigerian that doesn't understand. I understand Nigeria. I didn't understand Nigeria from Chinua Achebe's there was a country.
There was a country.
My father gave me first-hand information about what's going on. So I keyed in and I started walking, and it's not like stopping me. From what I do, like in Weekend Warriors, most of the time, youth coppers, people that are not from this part of the world, they are the people that want to explore. When they enter a town that they are not familiar with, you see them trying to, know what are they going to explore in this town. So most of the time, they come to you, and when you mentor them and take them around, some of them will actually confide in you and tell you that actually when they were coming, they thought Igbo people eat human being. That their parents did everything for them not to
dissuade them
from coming to the southeast. So you'll be wondering what kind of narrative is that. And some of them, if I remember Victor, I still keep in touch with him. He has a tour company in Lagos now because of what we did in Enugu here as a copper. You understand? So a lot of them will tell you the Opa, what's that? The Abacha. So and till today, I still waybill Opa and Abacha to people that came into Enugu that we had contact with. So for me, it's a very big.
Thank you so much. Final. I know my producers are screaming. Do you have any question for me? Let's end this show on that. And when he tries them.
Yes, I will.
Then ask.
I will. The truth is, I really don't. When we reconnected, I remember even when we were in Enugu, we were off and on. You weren't like, because of the way your dad was a soldier, and most of the time either you're in Kaduna or something. So when you came in, we were barely speaking Igbo safe. Your Igbo wasn't done. It was like, my mother say I'm Igbo. But now I don't know what happened. Libation, you're the one that is telling me Ojilo, or what happened?
I'm reconnecting, and like I said at the very beginning, this is why we're doing this show. As I always said in previous editions, as I got into my idea of Nigeria growing up in the barracks, my first language was Pidgin, and having that exposure. But I'm so happy that I've come back and I'm rediscovering myself and building friendship, rebuilding old friendships. And that's the beauty of why I think we as Igbo people, we learn. We're very assimilating. We assimilate things. So guys, on this note, he has asked me that question. I hope my answer is sufficient. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. My guest has been Ogonna Okafor, adventurer, grill master, Nigeria's #1 grill master, the conqueror of Mount Kilimanjaro, the summiter of life. Thank you so much for that. I wish we had more time, but we'll find other avenues.
Definitely.
Thank you guys. Thanks for joining me on this show, on this journey, and hope you enjoyed it. We'll look forward to you joining us on future editions. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.